This is in no way my attempt to justify my comic book obsession. And this story, I really, really like. Artwork, the storytelling. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Pull List. Let's talk about what's on my shelf. Alright, here's the thing. I've decided that the on my shelf videos will not be review videos per se, but just know that if I spend money on the trades, and if I make an effort to talk about them in these videos, I like it. So in my first on my shelf video, I talked about Marvel, Archie Comics, and Marvel, so I decided to change it up a little bit this week. First off, and probably the most popular book that we're going to be talking about today, The Sandman by Neil Gaiman, published by Vertigo Comics, which is an imprint of DC Comics. The main character's name is Dream, aka the Sandman, but he goes by many other names including Morpheus, Dream King, and so many others. I actually have a statue of him, but it's already packed away because I'm moving, so maybe I'll show you some other time. Essentially, Dream is the anthropomorphic personification of dreams. In the beginning of the series, Morpheus is captured during an occult ritual and trapped within a circle for 70 years, even though his captor originally intended on ensnaring death. He got Morpheus instead. Morpheus eventually gets out of there. I'm not going to spoil how or what exactly happens, but he has to go about rebuilding his kingdom, which has fallen into disrepair over the past 70 years of him not being there. It starts off with a dark horror theme, but then it transitions into this incredibly detailed dark fantasy genre, with Morpheus being the tragic hero. Letter 44, published by Oni Press, is actually one of the most interesting ideas for a comic that I've read in a very long time. This is actually volume 2. I'm letting somebody else borrow volume 1 right now. I should probably ask for that back. The newly elected US president, President Blades, comes into office on his very first day, ready to tackle things like the current war, healthcare, the oncoming economic collapse. And the way that the comic talks about the previous presidency, it's sort of reminiscent of when Barack Obama came into office after George Bush left, but President Blades finds something out that sort of redefines the previous presidency. You know how the president that's leaving leaves a note for the president that's coming in? Well, in the note, President Blades finds out that NASA, 7 years prior, discovered a potentially aggressive alien presence in the asteroid belt. And the previous administration decided to keep this a secret from the world in order to keep everybody from going into chaos. However, a crew of 9 astronauts was sent to the asteroid belt to find out what exactly is going on up there, and by the time that President Blades comes into office, they're almost there. Lumberjanes is a very female-centric comic published by Boom Studios, and it's pretty fun. It was originally only going to be an 8-issue miniseries, but after the release of the second issue, Boom decided that Lumberjanes was going to be an ongoing series. The story is set at a summer camp for hardcore lady types, and their attendees are known as Lumberjane Scouts. The Scouts in the Roanoke cabin witness some weird happenings at the camp, and they take it upon themselves to solve some of the mysteries that are going on. So in short, read Sandman if you're into dark fantasy horror and Neil Gaiman in general, read Letter 44 if you're into sci-fi and alien threats, and read Lumberjanes if you're into bashing gender stereotypes and watching awesome women work together at a summer camp. And friendship. This is a really fun comic. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if I'm talking about these in the on my shelf videos, I like them a lot, so I encourage you to go check these out if any of these sound like something you would enjoy reading. They should not be very difficult to find if you check your local comic book store. I think every comic book store has Sandman. Most of them will have Letter 44. I think Lumberjanes might be the only one that you have a little bit of trouble finding, and that's because a lot of comic stores don't have a lot of Boom Studios products, but you should be able to find them all online if you can't find them in your local comic book store. But you should check your local comic book store first because, you know, local small businesses. And you know, if you're there, you might see something else you like, and then you'll get to tell me about it in the comments down below when I ask you what you're currently reading. So, what are you currently reading? Did you pick up any new issues? Are you enjoying any current series going on? What is a comic series that you think that I should look into to talk about in the On My Shelf videos? That's it for this episode of The Pull List. My name is Travis. Thank you for fueling my comic book obsession, and you will see me tomorrow. Alright, real quick, I just got done editing this video, but I got a package in the mail that I think you're really gonna like. And it makes sense that it would come today, because today is Wednesday, Pull List Day, and this is a comic. So, it's very secured in here, which is good, because it's a CGC book, and I don't want any damage to come to the case. But, so much tape. This thing could withstand a nuclear blast. Da-da-da. Doctor Who #1 CG Seed 9.9. Look at how beautiful that is. The artwork, and it's a 9.9. I have one other 9.9. It's that lock and key right up there in the middle. I think this one needs to have a spot on the shelf back there when I move. What do you think?